What is good, y'all? Welcome to Let's Cap. I know it's been a while, but I missed the show a lot. I miss interacting with the viewers, diving into the games together. Hopefully I get a chance to do this a little more often. If you haven't been here before, the goal is to cap games live and share my screen as we go through it, just kind of like a learning process, and we kind of do it as a community. You'll see the sources I use, my guests as well, and we do it as a community. Like I said, we learn and grow together. What we're doing here is sharing information. Whether you want to tell, picks we mentioned or whatever, that's really on you. But for the most part, it's really, the educational part. We call it Let's Cap because we're doing it together as a community. With that said, dude, I got one guest on today for the return of Let's Cap, and we got Kyle Kirms. Kyle, man, yeah, I've been on your show a few times now. Most people here who's watching probably know who you are already. But for the most part, you have, to me, one of the best sports betting shows on YouTube. And it shows because you get like 1,000 viewers per episode or more than that. But I think before that, I kind of talked to you, uh, you know, outside of the shows, right? And kind of talked about your journey, how you got here. And I think that one of the things that was really fascinating to me was that video clip that you sent, because other than working with you on the show, I had no idea who you are, where you came from. But like, I think your journey of where you came from, kind of from the bottom to where you are now, is such a crazy journey. I kind of want people to hear about it because I think it's super important of why hard work, your work ethic and just determination, all that stuff put together, not just for capping games, but just how you go through your business and all that stuff. Can you talk about about that video specifically, like where you were at that time and how you got here?
Yeah. So I struggled with addiction for a lot of my 20s, and a lot of people that struggle with that, it's always like one lingering thing deep down in their head. And a lot of people, for everyone, it's different. Some people, it's struggling to find a girlfriend or boyfriend that they're insecure about. Some
Mhm.
people, it's insecurity about their family or family dysfunctions. My thing always was I couldn't find like my purpose. So I have bad anxiety too. So it would just, I knew I was smart and I knew I could do something, but I couldn't figure out what it was. So when I discovered video editing, that's what fixed me in a sense. I found something that I knew I was good at and I knew I loved. And
Yeah.
then years later, you combine it with sports betting, and it was like all the things that I'm naturally good at, like numbers, statistics, and probability, video editing, and sports. It was like
Yeah.
all, and kind of being a natural contrarian in some sense. It just combined all of my skill set into one occupation. So that and combined with the fact that I uh I I put in a lot of hours. I've worked a ton to get here, and I'm not even close to done. I have very ambitious goals.
Yeah, that was dope to see. And then I feel like I came from a specific background as well, right? My parents didn't speak English. They didn't really have great paying jobs, so we kind of, I would say that I wouldn't say I grew up in the projects, kind of didn't really have a lot growing up, and kind of working hard. I think that's where I learned hard work and all that stuff to get where I wanted to be. And you also have to navigate a lot of things, right? You got to plan it out. It just doesn't happen overnight. When you became that video editor, you kind of wanted to see what was next and all that stuff. So I really appreciate you. How you grew, how you go about your business. I think is positive, it's legit, and just big ups to you for the most part. But yeah, I think that with that said, let's get into the NBA capping. And like I said, if you haven't been here
Wait,
before,
MLB, right?
sorry, MLB, yeah,
Oh, I
MLB
was gonna
capping.
say, like, I'm not prepared.
But like I said, we do a share screen, so we kind of show the process. And what I'll do now is I used to have a whole bunch of screens set up, but now I kind of just use the money baller, and once in a while I use some of the SDQL stuff for more complex querying. But first game up, we'll bring up. Let me see if I could get the screen here. First game up is the Phillies and the Brewers. Phillies -210. We got Wheeler and Bryce Wilson. If you haven't been to the moneyballer.com, this is the MLB matchup page. It kind of goes through it. You have every single game basically. This part here is our rating system. So it looks at starting pitcher, bullpen. Let me zoom in a little bit. Starting pitcher, bullpen, team batting, and based on the ratings, we have like our potential odds or potential win probability. So right now, based on our ratings, it's minus 188 to 214. So it's right in the ballpark. So right now we don't see a significant edge either way. But I did look at this game a little bit beforehand, and one thing that I was kind of looking at was the under. And I noticed some, if you go to the live odds pages, some of them I believe have gone down to 8 now. So the market is kind of in agreement there. But I think it has to do with some of the pitching numbers. If you look at Bryce Wilson, the splits here. If you look at Wheeler and Wilson, these are full game numbers to the under in the last 30 days. So 3-0 to the under in the full game and 3-0 to the under for both of them, actually. So as home faves and away dogs in this situation. You can see like the first 5 they go over, but in the second half they end up going under in the full game. It kind of goes with how their bullpens have been, because if you look at the last 30 days and with the bullpens, they've been really, really strong here for both teams, Phillies and the Brewers. One reason why I would lean towards the Phillies is just because when you look at Bryce Wilson's numbers here, his ERA looks pretty solid. But if you look at his FIP and xFIP, it kind of gives me negative regression type vibes. So that's the only reason why I would lean towards Phillies over the Brewers. But like I said, our matchup system, our matchup rating kind of puts it at where the odds should be currently. So no edge on the side, but really would look towards the under here. If we're looking at a first 5 number, you can see Phillies here versus right-handed pitchers in the first 5 as home favorites, 10-0-2 on the money line. But that would be 10-2 on the run line because it's usually a half run. So I would lean that direction. But for the most part,
does that question about your site there, does that account for? I mean, I'm assuming the Phillies are favored in every single home game, but would that account for if they were underdogs and catching a half run in the first 5?
No, so this is the home favorite situation. The dog situation here would be,
it says home favorite. I didn't see that. Okay.
Yeah, no. So yeah, but you're right though, because if it's a dog, it would be a plus half run, right? So this situation here, you can see it's grayed out, but we color it so that you know what situation they're in today. But you can take it where you could go favorite and favorite together. So as a favorite, regardless of where they are, it would be 11-2-2, and then as a dog or as a home, you can just kind of combine that together. But yeah, so that was kind of like what I saw here. And then, but like I said, I think the under was the way I would have bet this one, just because, with our rating system, what the rating system does, it doesn't look at just the starter. It kind of looks at the starter against how the hitters do against that style of pitcher. Same with the bullpen, same with the hitting. It kind of combines all that stuff together in the back end. So that's why I like this tool, and we track all the records in the back end. But yeah, that's the way that I looked at this game here, was really lean more so towards the under more than anything. I know you have a bet on this game.
I do.
What were you looking at?
I took the plus 180 with Milwaukee. It's not necessarily that I think, the Brewers are going to beat them up. Got to smash Milwaukee here.
Yeah.
It's just that this price is way off. First of all, you got Zach Wheeler, who obviously has been absolutely elite, but his numbers against left-handed bats, not so elite. I mean, they're pretty average. A 136 whip, 319 WOBA. Not crazy. So left-handed bats can get to Zach Wheeler. The Brewers are going to have 5 lefties in the lineup. Also, look, what you said about Bryce Wilson's expected FIP is accurate. It does indicate he's due for some regression, but he has been pitching well. He's been pitching well on the road. So I like that. But more, if you look at the Phillies, am I able to share a screen here?
Yeah, you can.
Window. Can they see it?
I'll put it up right now.
Okay, so right here, look at these. So these are right-handed starter game logs against the Phillies. Let me zoom in so you can see it better. So look over here. This is right-handed starters against the Phillies. This team is just not clobbering righties like you expect. Lance Lynn, 4 innings pitched, 5 base runners. Sonny Gray, they got to. That's 8 base runners at 5 innings, 4 runs. But before that, Michaelis went 6 innings, just 6 base runners. Cal Quantrill, 6 innings, just 5 base runners. Dakota Hudson, 6 innings, just 6 base runners. It's not that I think the Phillies lineup is bad. You need to fade it. Not at all. I'm just saying they're overpriced. Simple as that. I mean, look at these names. These aren't Cy Young Award winners. I mean, Sonny Gray is nice, but the other names on this list that the
Yeah.
Phillies are struggling to get to. So this Phillies lineup just isn't hitting righty starters like they were 3-4 weeks ago, and the price is just way off. Also, I believe, let's talk bullpens for a second. Oh, whoops. Now let's talk bullpens for a second. All right. So Phillies, now they should have all these arms available, but they are pretty taxed here. Look, Alvarado, 2 of the last 3 days. Hoffman, 2 of the last 3 days. Strom, 2 of the last 3 days. Kirkering, 2 days in a row. Soto, 2 days in a row. Now, I'm assuming these top 3 guys aren't going to be available if the Phillies need them, but, I mean, they're taxed. So if the Phillies win a close game here and they use Strom, Hoffman, Alvarado, and they use these 3 guys to get them, we might want to seriously consider going right back to the Brewers tomorrow because the Phillies aren't going to have any arms.
Would that play correlate with the under though? Right? Wouldn't it? Because you're saying
it's
because Wheeler is a solid pitcher, right? But if you're expecting the Phillies bats to struggle against Wilson as well, I mean, I would think that the under might be the right way to go too.
It probably would be the way I would look total wise. Maybe a Phillies team total under. Because I'm assuming with Wheeler on the mound, the Brewers team total under is going to be low. So yeah, maybe a Phillies team total under if I was going to go the total route. But plus 180, man, I took the shot.
Yeah,
I'm coming off a 5-0 sweep yesterday too, so I'm playing with some house money at the moment.
There you go. Awesome. All right. What other game did you have that that you had a bet on?
That I have a bet. I actually have I have 2 bets and 4 leans today. So I'm kind of prepared to talk about whatever game.
Let's just go down the line. All right. So we have Washington. All right, let me share my screen again. All right. So we have Nationals and Mets here, Gore and McGill. All right. So our rating says that the Mets should be probably favored in this situation. If we look at the last 5 starts, Gore, dude, he's coming off a nice start here. 10 Ks, 5 1/3 innings pitched. If we look at McGill, he's coming off a good one too. But he went 7 innings. That looks like more than he's normally used to. It looks like. If we look at some of the trends or splits the last 30 days, I mean, here's one that pops out here. So Mets versus left-handed pitchers, the last 30 days, 1-7 straight up. So that kind of goes against, the rating system here. Even in the run line perspective, 8-17 on the run line. Overs. This means they're giving up runs, right? If I'm not mistaken, so they're giving up a lot of runs here. If they're losing against left-handed pitchers and they're going over, that means their opponents are going up and over their team total a lot. The problem is the Nats bats aren't that great, right? So, this one's interesting. Did you have a play on this one?
No, I wanted to get there with the Mets. Mackenzie Gore has been good, but the Mets seem to be waking up a little bit against lefties. Actually, they're like if you just go by numbers the last 14, 30 days, they're like one of the best lineups in baseball against lefties. But obviously most of that comes against bullpens. And the price, I would imagine a lot of action coming in on the Mets at that price. So I didn't end up getting there, but I wanted to take the Mets. And if I was to bet it, I would be taking the Mets. And I liked it at plus 105 that I looked back and I couldn't even find a plus 105. So I don't know if it's moving. I haven't looked back at it. What's the current line on that?
Mets is, it's come down a little bit, but not
you can still get a plus 105. All right. So it hasn't moved dramatically. But that I wanted to get there with the Mets. Meatball McGill's been dealing, man. Probably for, I made fun of him for backing Meatball McGill a couple starts ago. Looks like he was right.
That's funny. So I think I would lean towards Mets too, but I probably wouldn't bet this one just based on the splits, especially with how they do against left-handed. How they've done against left-handed pitchers. So it seems like they're getting lit up in that spot. I would definitely stay away here.
Yeah, the other. Did you want me to skip it to the one I have a bet on, or did you want to talk about all of them? I'm down for either.
We can just go through them all and see what people say. If anyone in the viewers have any questions too, we can look stuff up. But yeah, let's move on to the next one because I didn't really feel confident in this one either.
Toronto Baltimore's next.
Yeah, Toronto and Baltimore.
This
Toast
is
looks like he likes the Mets first 5.
Yeah, but don't listen to Toast on that. He bets the Mets all the time. He bets the Mets too much.
All right, we got Blue Jays and the Orioles. We got Gossman and Grayson Rodriguez. The rating system has the Blue Jays favored -125 to -145, so small edge to the Blue Jays there. Looking at the last 5 starts, 10 Ks for Grayson Rodriguez, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, 6 innings. I mean, they look like normal starts in the last previous starts, so I don't see any dramatic like regression or negative or positive regression. If we look at some of the splits last 30 days, both have been winning. Maybe a slight lean towards the over. 6-2 to the over in the first 5 as home favorites, and first 5 and full game for the Blue Jays versus right-handed pitchers. I don't see anything super significant here from an offensive perspective. I think they look pretty even. I mean, power to the Orioles, but I mean, it seems like they're producing the same amount of runs. If we look at pitching matchup, if anything, there's maybe some positive regression towards the Blue Jays and Gossman, and the bullpens both kind of suck right now. So maybe a first 5 look towards the Blue Jays, if anything, and kind of stay away from the bullpen. Any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I'm on Baltimore.
You're on Baltimore. Okay.
Definitely. Getting a much better team at a pick 'em here, and the only reason is Kevin Gausman on the mound, and this is like a perfect sell high spot on Gausman, coming off back-to-back really nice looking starts. But it was against the White Sox and the Tigers, both those games on the road. Now he's back home in Toronto, where, I mean, dating back to last year, Kevin Gausman at home is just a fade. Not that he necessarily sucks. He either gets lit up or they just don't hit for him. Fading Kevin Gausman at home in Toronto has been profitable for a long time now. Obviously, we know the Baltimore bats much more reliable than the Blue Jays bats. They're heating up against right-handed pitching as well in the last 14 days. Top 3, top 4 lineup against righties. Also, you're getting Baltimore coming off a loss. They blew it in the late innings where they were missing a lot of their bullpen arms, who will now be rested in this one. The Blue Jays are missing some bullpen arms here. Let me scroll up and find it. Yeah, I doubt we're going to see Garcia. I doubt we're going to see Chad Green in this one. Remember, there's no Romano either. He's on the IL. So the Blue Jays bullpen severely limited. This one kind of felt, I don't want to say this word because then people go and bet irresponsibly, but it felt like a layup kind of as far as my decision-making process. Like, it's got to be Baltimore here.
Baltimore. Do you ever look at things like where they, how in the NBA we kind of look at schedule and say, all right, they were at home for like 5 straight games and then they go on the road. I mean, for me, not being primarily a baseball bettor or whatever, is that a situation that you kind of look at too?
Not that specifically. I like to fade teams just coming home from a road trip, because a lot of these guys, it's the first time seeing their kids or girlfriends in like 11, 12 days.
Yeah.
Seriously though. And then they spend the day with them, and then so I think teams coming home from a road trip. Also, a team that had just traveled, which I realize applies to Baltimore here. But no, as a whole, it's one of the things I look at, but it's not going to sway my decision. I mean, I did fade. I took the Rays. I did take the Rays yesterday for this specific thing. I said Baltimore has no bullpen, and they got a series starting in Toronto tomorrow. So I took the Rays at plus money yesterday. So it's spot wise, it is a better spot for Toronto, but every single other aspect of this game points to Baltimore, in my opinion.
Got it. All right, cool. I think I'm probably going to pass on this one for the most part. I know there's an edge here on the Blue Jays, but I'm not really trusting this part or this game here specifically. What do you think about the total? Would you look towards the over?
Let me pull it up. It would definitely be over. I would imagine, 7.5. It would be over. Just two good starting pitchers to give us a lower number. I expect Baltimore to score runs on Gausman, even if it's only 2 or 3. We're looking at 7.5 here. Like I said, in the late innings, Toronto's going to be throwing their lesser arms out of the bullpen because that's the only it's the only arms they have available. In the last 30 days, Baltimore's a top 10 lineup in inning 6+. So this is a lineup that gets the bullpens. In the last 14 days, they're a top 5 lineup in inning 6+. So in inning, so this is one of those games where if you bet Baltimore, if you're tailing on this one, if we're down 3-1 in the 6th inning, don't panic. We're fine. We just need to get to those late innings and be within striking distance, and I think the O's should get it done.
Yeah, that makes sense because if you look at their bullpen numbers here, it seems like they're sort of regressing from the earlier part of the season. All right, let's move on to the Rangers and the Tigers. You got Uvalde and Screwball.
Yeah, it's such a
man. Our rating system really likes Detroit here by a lot. Yeah, it probably has to do with the starting pitcher, Screwball. I mean that's what I'm assuming here. If you look at some of the Uvalde starts, I mean, do you know why he only pitched 3 innings? Was it because
he's just returning from injury? Yeah. But I mean, the thing that makes this a pass for me, I wanted to bet Texas, to be honest. The thing that makes it a pass, or the thing that, so obviously you look and you see Scooble at a pick'em, you immediately look Tigers, right? That's what everyone's thinking. The reason I can't do that is before he got hurt. Now he's just coming back from injury. I don't even know if he's going to be on a full pitch count. Toast could probably tell us in the comments. But he was dealing at home before he got hurt. I mean, he was pitching really well in Arlington. This is a Tigers lineup that seems to be cooling off. Yeah, they showed up and won the extra inning game last night, but the 2 games before that, they had nothing. They couldn't touch the pitchers in Fenway. So Eovaldi at home was dealing before he got hurt. With all that actually coming in on Scooble on the other side, I wanted to play Texas here, but would really, I mean, if I could get it at like a +110, maybe, but when I was looking, it was a pick'em, which is I can't fade Scooble at a pick'em. But I mean, now I'm seeing a -102 on FanDuel, so it's getting a little closer. I would say +110. I would make a play on Texas at +110, but anything less than that's just a pass.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at this bullpen the last 30 days. Do you think this is a situation where you kind of avoid the bullpen and say maybe a first 5 under for both?
Toast in the comments. The Scooble against the Rangers, 11 innings pitched, 13 hits and 9 runs. So the Rangers have owned this guy. And something else I forgot to mention is the bullpen. Tigers bullpen has a situation tonight. There's Foley, their closer Foley just pitched on back-to-back nights. Now he only threw 8 pitches yesterday, but still, I doubt they're going to use him 3 straight games. Chafin back-to-back nights, and he threw 22 yesterday. So 2 of the main arms for Detroit out in this one. God damn, I'm talking myself into a Texas bet now. I want to bet the Rangers. That's where I want to be.
Yeah, it makes sense. What do you think about that first 5 under that I was thinking about? Because if we avoid the bullpens, either first 5 under or maybe just take a live over in some situation, right?
Let me see. First five. What the heck? Where is it? First 5 innings, total runs. There it is. All right, 3.5. No, I won't take an under at 3.5. Toast has made it a point that he blindly plays the over whenever he gets a 3.5. I don't know if he'll do this one because it's kind of expensive, and he's been successful with it. Out of that being said, with these 2 pitchers on the mound, with Detroit lineup kind of cooling off, I don't think we can count on runs in the first 5. So I guess I would lean towards the under, but I won't play it at 3.5.
Gotcha. All right. Man, I was looking to just because of the rating system, I wanted to look directly towards Detroit, but a lot of the things that you said made sense.
I mean, you're getting Scooble close to a pick'em. It's going to be a profitable decision if you want to play Detroit. This particular spot, I would lean. Not to mention, hold on one sec.
Look at this. This is kind of funky. So
also, Detroit had to fly all the way from Boston. They just finished a series in Boston yesterday. Now, Texas was in Miami themselves, so there's a little bit of a trip there, but I don't know. It would be Texas or pass.
Yeah, some of the sharper books are moving down to – it's already moved down to 7, too. I wonder if that under is – I know 3.5 is really low, but Seems like under is the play.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to what was it? Astros and Cardinals here. Verlander and Gibson. We have Astros with a 3, but that means 142 to 162. So slight edge to the Cardinals based on the line here. If you look at schedule, they've been on the road a lot. They just traveled from Philly. Houston's been at home. Looking at the last 5 starts, he got 7 innings pitched here, 9. He's been looking pretty good the last couple of starts. Same with Gibson too.
Yeah, Gibson's been good.
Cincinnati, Baltimore, Seattle, and Oakland. All right, so then we go to the splits last 30 days. Anything that pop out? The full game under pops out here a little bit. If you look at the Astros against righties, last 30 days, 17-8-1 to the under as home favorites, 9-4-1. And then if you look at the Cardinals side, 5-1 to the under as road dogs. So profitable situation to the under on the full game, just based on those alone. If you look at some of the stats here, looks like, it seems like the bats are kind of even. Slight edge to the Cardinals here for runs per game, but Astros show a little bit of power. If you look at pitching here, slight negative regression maybe for both of these starting pitchers. Both of them had 2 really good starts, so maybe some negative regression there. Bullpens, edge to the Astros slightly there. Did you have a bet on this one?
No, but I don't know how you could justify laying the juice with Houston here. It would only be Cardinals at this number. I mean, Kyle Gibson's been absolutely dealing, and yeah, he's going to come back down to earth at some point. It's like Kyle Gibson's a rookie. We know what this guy is. He has his ups and downs. So he's going to come back down to earth at some point. But is this really the spot for it? I know you might think, on the road.
I think you went on mute. I don't hear you. No, I don't hear you. Not sure what happened there. You kind of just went out. Nope.
Hello?
Oh, there you go.
I'm back?
Yeah, you're back. Not sure what happened there.
So what is the last thing you heard?
You were talking about Gibson going back down to earth a little bit.
Oh, so yeah. So we know Kyle. We know this guy's not a rookie. We know Kyle Gibson is eventually going to come back down to earth at some point. And I know a lot of people might be looking at this spot. Kyle Gibson historically is a fade on the road. He's on the road in Houston. This is a perfect spot for Kyle Gibson to come back down to life and get rocked. But here's the thing about Kyle Gibson. This dude's got some numbers against right-handed bats. It's lefties that give Kyle Gibson problems. Against righties, he's got a 111 whip and a 340 expected FIP this season. He's been very good against right-handed bats. The Astros lineup's going to have 7 righties in it. The only 2 lefties in the Astros lineup, Kyle Tucker, Yordan Alvarez. After that, and those 2 guys bat next to each other in the order, second and third. So from the 4 spot to the leadoff spot, that's 7 straight batters. Kyle Gibson's going to get to face 7 straight righty bats in this lineup 2 or 3 times. And he's been so good against righties. I think Kyle Gibson's going to pitch well. Now, Verlander's also been pitching well, and the Cardinals bats do seem to be cooling off. So that's a tough one on that side. But at this number, it would only be Cardinals.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. Even the rating system says that they're favored by a little bit too much. What was the reason why you didn't take a bet on this one then? If it was
so there's a couple of things. The Cardinals used all of their bullpen arms yesterday and just finished the series. So the Cardinals that just had to travel from Philadelphia, which is a huge series for them. Their series against the Phillies that just ended, much more important than this series against Houston, against an AL team. Not to mention they just played an extra inning game on Sunday Night Baseball. Now, not really this year, but historically, you want to fade the team that has to travel after Sunday Night Baseball because everyone else in the league gets a day game to travel in the afternoon, and the team that plays on Sunday night has to travel at night, so they lose a few hours. So you just got – and by the way, this Cardinals team, the spot is pretty shitty for the Cardinals. They're coming off back-to-back series at Cincinnati, at Philadelphia. Cincinnati, division game, Philadelphia, first place in the NL. So the Cardinals are coming off back-to-back series that are much more important than this one in Houston. So it's a terrible spot for the Cardinals. But as far as remove the spots and just talk baseball numbers, it would only be Cardinals at this price. I'm just not going to bet it because I hate the spot.
Yeah, that's the hardest part, right? Because you have to take that into account. The spot does matter. And that's the reason why I asked you earlier, what do you think about those travel situations versus a team that's been sitting at home?
And man, bring that up for Toast, and he will talk on this mic for 25 minutes.
I mean, we can look shit up like that, though. Like, you go here, right? We can go here and just say, all right, well, since, let's say, 2020 or something, right? If a team is on the road and they were at home for what? Greater than six or more, or six. Yeah, let's say greater than 6 games in a row. So these teams here, 430, so 47.3% on the money line. So you're not profiting in any single way, but teams tend to lose.
So that's just someone playing their 7th straight or 7th or more straight road game.
No, this is the road game after playing at least 7 straight games at home.
What you need to somehow include that they switch locations to travel.
No, that's what the side streak is. So the side streak at a positive number means they were at home. So it's 6, greater than 6 means they've been at home for at least 7 straight games.
They weren't at home though. They were in Philly.
No, I'm just coming up with that situation.
Something different. Okay.
Yeah. Just in general, like if they had to travel, right? That type of situation there. So if you want to look at the other way, say we go less than, or you go to -6, right? So this is at least 6 games on the road, and then they're on the road again, and then you'll say like their opponent is not the same as their previous opponent, right? So that means they switch locations or they switch opponents. Oops. Sorry. PO team. So in this situation, I mean, doesn't seem like it happens too often. 6 straight games on the road, then go on the road to face a different team. Yeah. It doesn't seem like it happens too often, but it's profitable towards the team that's actually on the road. I'm wondering if they adjust the line a little bit too much, and that's why it's profitable.
Maybe.
We'll see. But yeah, I mean, those are the type of situations that we could look up and like that, like with SDQL. But yeah, so let's move on to the next one here. The Rockies.
I want to bet the Rockies so bad.
I have our rating system actually has Rockies as favorites. So I mean, they should be favorites. So I was actually leaning towards the Rockies too, and we got Feltner and Abbott, righty versus lefty here. Obviously, this one you're going on the road, coming back home. These guys have been on the road for a little bit. Just faced Chicago.
Is there a reason on your website that you put the home team first up there at the top? It's so confusing.
No, it's because I people have brought it up to me, but it's so the guy that does the web development side, he had it set up like that before we even started doing anything, so we haven't switched it yet. But it's requested that we flip it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. It's requested that we flip it.
Always a way for it.
Yeah. Even I'm used to that too. I had to get used to how he had it set up. So. But yeah, we're working on that stuff. There's some other stuff that's like higher in priority, like box scores, getting the projected lineups and shit like that. So we're working on a lot of things, but there's only like 3 of us. Actually, one guy that does this part, but yeah, we're working on it. So we got Feltner coming off a nasty game. He gave a 5 earned runs.
Every game is a nasty game for Feltner.
So, and then we got Abbott. He came off a nasty one too.
The key factor in this game are the Rockies' numbers against left-handed pitching. That's where you want to look. They are slaughtering left-handed pitching. And this has got to be. Is this Abbott's first start in Coors Field? You got Abbott, a young kid, starting on the road in Coors Field against a team that's slaughtering lefties. The Rockies might score 10 runs in this game.
Mm-hmm. Look at this situation here. So we have the Rockies versus left-handed pitchers last 30 days. 5-1 straight up on the full game as home dogs. And then if you look at the Reds versus righties as a favorite in general, they're the opposite, 1-5 basically. So like that's kind of like what you were saying. But this is Reds against right-handed pitchers in a favorite situation is 1-5. So it definitely looks towards the Rockies from a trend perspective. It looks like a an under type game, but obviously, in Coors that changes a lot.
Yeah.
From a stats perspective, I mean, the edge goes to the Rockies from a batting perspective. I mean, the Reds look like they've been struggling offensively. If you look at from a pitching aspect, we're looking at like negative regression here with Feltner and positive regression with Feltner and negative regression with Abbott, because there's a huge gap here between the ERA and then the FIP there. Bullpen, I mean, it's hard because you're looking at
Reds bullpen's a little tired though.
Well, that's a good call out there.
It's not significant. They are missing. I'm pulling it up now.
Yeah.
They're going to be most likely missing Diaz, their closer. It's actually not as bad as I thought. I think it might just be Diaz. Cruz, Sims, they worked 2 of the last 3 days, but they had yesterday off, so they'll probably be available.
Mm-hmm. Would you think a first 5 situation, or would you still lean towards the full game?
I didn't bet it. I like the Rockies to hit up Abbott. The problem is Feltner pitching against the Reds lineup is such like the Reds could score 15 runs right back.
What about Rockies team total over?
I was thinking, okay, so now you're thinking on the same plane. I was thinking either a Rockies team total over, or maybe I would talk to Prop Beaver about an Abbott prop. Abbott over hits, Abbott over earned runs. So I like the Rockies to score runs. Mm-hmm. I just don't know where the reason I didn't bet it is Feltner's pitching. It's the Reds lineup. That's a wild card to me. And the reason I didn't bet it, because you might be thinking, all right, why didn't you bet Rockies team total over? It's because, dude, totals and cores I don't do often because they're all the way up at 11.
It's like 6.5 probably.
Right. And it's like, I like the over, but holy shit. So I don't. I usually pass on a lot of games in Coors Field. I don't place a ton of bets in Coors Field throughout the year, but when I do, it's usually on a side. I don't bet totals in Coors Field very often.
What about? I'm gonna look at this situation here. Have you ever thought about like teams going into Coors in the first game of the series?
Toast actually talks about that. It's teams just getting into Coors and teams just leaving Coors. There's a trend to that. I don't know it off the top of my head.
All right, so let's say they're at home and then their opponent is the Rockies, and then team. All right, so it looks like they actually go to the under a lot in the first game of the series. So maybe that's adjusting travel there.
Well, this year I think unders have been at Coors Field have been hitting this year. I think unders been very profitable in Coors.
So if we add to the fact that the road team, well, are they favored or not? Who's the favorite right now?
It's like a pick 'em. I think the Reds are very short favorites, like -112. I think it's close to a pick 'em.
I think the database has it as a dog, probably. That's probably what the problem is.
Toast, the Rockies were on the road for 3 games. Let's not act like they were on this serious road trip. They're gone for 3 days. Let's relax.
Okay. Yeah, so, I mean, from a spot perspective, it looks like an under. Look at this, though. So if a team is going into Coors first game of the series and the road team is a favorite, look at that under spot right there. Wow. 43-22 since 2020. Well, actually, let's just look at this year. Okay, so 6-3 to the under. Still profitable to the under. That's something to keep in mind, I guess. You don't want to take Colorado?
No, maybe Rockies team total over is probably in fact, Andy, give me a Rockies team total over graphic for the show today, please.
All right, 2 more games here. We got Padres and the Angels. Looks like the rating system likes Padres a lot.
Yeah, it's only Padres here. Didn't bet it. I think the price is really sharp and really fair. If this was, let me see where it's at now, because I was looking at these this morning. I actually considered a Padres -1.5 here. See, now it's up to -150. I thought when I was looking at it this morning, it was -138, -140. I was all the way Padres here. I just didn't want to take them at that big of a price.
So it looks like they struggle against lefties.
Yeah, but earlier in the season, they were red hot against lefties, so we know that they're capable of hitting them.
Mhm.
And man, this is baseball. Every team's going to do this 100 times. So, in
Mhm.
my opinion, I'm not scared of taking the Padres against the lefties against a lefty because I know they can hit them, and I think eventually they will start hitting them. But more importantly, it's the Angels against a righty. Angels have been so terrible against right-handed arms. Against lefties, you got to bet them, but against righties, no way. I also think Tyler Anderson is dripping with regression. I mean, this
Yeah,
dude's just
I
due
see
to
it
get
right here. I
smacked.
was just gonna call that out. And then the opposite here for Waldron. And then you got the Padres with the bullpen. It seems like they got the bullpen advantage here too.
Yep. They got the bullpen advantage. All their arms were. That's why we bet. Me and Toast were both on the Royals yesterday.
Mhm.
We were fading the Padres bullpen because they were missing those arms. Those arms had the day off and are back. Also, Padres have been the lineup. They've been a top 5, top 10 lineup on the road all season. They always produce better on the road. So there's a million reasons why to bet the Padres here.
I think there's even positive regression with the bats too, because look at they're hitting the ball well. They're just not producing runs at the level that they should. It seems like I think I might I mean what is it now? Is it too far?
It's
Padres?
at minus 150.
Oh shit. Damn. Yeah, that's kind of far. Do you ever do like -1? You know, like a the one run line, like half run line, half money line?
Yeah, of course, but I try not to see when I'm betting. I like to bet in a way where everyone on my website and in the Discord can join in, and not everyone has that available. So I'm not saying I never do it, but I try to avoid taking bets that like people can't join in with me because
Yeah.
that's not my job. Is to try to help everyone make money, and it's not just to make money privately without them. Like that's not what I'm supposed to do. So I do like those -1s, but not everyone has access to them. So I try to avoid them. I'll take the -1.5 or the money line because I know everyone could get those.
So just off the bat, so like I said, we kind of keep track of a lot of the records here. You see Padres team bats is 3 out of 3.
What does that mean?
It looks like since we've been tracking it on the website, it's 12-4 straight up and on the run line. So whenever you see a bat 3 here, it seems like most of the time that's the right spot. It seems like because they're winning by margin in these games. I feel like I want to take it.
You're gonna lay the 1.5.
I'm probably gonna do a -1. I mean, because I don't have the same restrictions as you do with your site, so I'll probably do a -1 type of thing there. If you guys don't know, you could. Have you guys seen the run line calculator?
What do you mean?
It automatically calculates the run line for you, or the -1.
Can you look at the difference between Padres money line as favorites and Padres -1.5? Like their earnings?
Oh yeah. Just this season.
Yeah, I would like to see what's been more profitable, playing the Padres money line as favorites or playing the Padres run line.
All right, so Padres as a favorite, so 18-18 straight up. As a favorite, 13-18. And you know this, right? Like sometimes depending on what the line is, sometimes we'll still have a plus 1.5. So the odds change a lot.
So what are the earnings there? It's -140 plus 125. What does that mean? -140.
So these are the odds. These are the average odds, right? And then the on against right here is the profit. So if you look at it from this perspective, just look at this line right here, right? 18-18 as favorites. They're, if you bet on them every single time, you're -961. If you bet on them, if you bet on the opponent, you'd be up 525. And obviously because 50-50 and you're getting plus odds. And I believe the way they set it up on this site is if they're favored, it's you bet to you risk. So you bet to win 1 unit, and if you're a dog, you risk 1 unit.
All right, so you significantly better ROI laying the 1.5 with the Padres as favorites this year.
Yeah, and we could switch it over to road favorite and see what happens there. So road favorite either way, 8-4 straight up, 8-4 on the run line. So definitely more higher ROI just because of the odds there. But every single game as a road favorite, It's either if they win, they're gonna cover the run line. If they lose,
not a single 1-run win.
no. And not what that's the way it looks. Not what I mean. Based on this, it seems like it's not a single one. And you can look at the scores here. So, yeah, it's always 2 or more runs.
All right. Yeah. So Padres -1.5 for pass for me though.
All right. Do you know who the last starter is?
No, I didn't even look at it yet because it was undecided. I know that prop Evers trend. Fade Ryan Nelson at home. He takes whenever Ryan Nelson makes a home start, he takes the opposing team's first 5 team total over, and it's been wildly successful because he always gets rocked in the desert. So for those of you that are fans of prop Ever, and there's a lot of you freaks out there, I'm sure you're ready for that.
We need that community parlay song.
Yeah, that was a smash hit.
All right, let's look at Ryan Nelson real quick. All right, so 2 and 6 straight up, and then you said,
can you look at home?
Yeah. So
can you look at home and include last year too?
Yeah.
Watch this dude at home. This dude just gets fucking shelled at home every time.
All right, so yeah, they 6 and 10 straight up. If you look at this is the first 5 runs, so first 5 innings they give up.
He's given up
4.5.
Almost 5 runs in the first 5 innings of his home starts. This dude just gets rocked in this ballpark.
I mean, what would you say? First 5 over then? Like, I mean, look
prop Ever does the opposing team. So in this case, it would be the Giants. Giants first 5 team total over, and it's always 1.5 or 2.5. So he basically just needs the Giants to score 2 or 3 off Ryan Nelson, and it hits at a wild rate.
Because I'm looking at some of these games here, right? So obviously, so this is home, home.
Yeah, Toast is in the comments. He calls it the system.
Are they favored currently?
Let me look. I mean, I didn't really look before because there was no pitcher listed. So,
yeah, they are favored.
-136, -135.
Right, so let's switch that over to home favorite real quick. Yeah, they're giving up a shit ton, except for this one, and this one's this season.
Yeah. Back on April 13th.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Okay. Oh, they don't have the box score. Okay. Yeah. I don't know who the starter is. Do they even? Yeah, nothing yet. Oh, wait, Miller. Is that right?
Oh, I don't know. Let me go look. I haven't. I checked. I haven't checked in a couple hours.
All right, let me just put Miller in there real quick.
Action Network still has nobody listed. RotoWire has Spencer Howard listed.
Oh, that's crazy.
All right, let me look at Roto Grinders. Let's see who Roto Grinders has listed. Spencer Howard. Roto Grinders has Spencer Howard also.
Oh, Spencer Howard. He's been on the.
He was on the Phillies, then the Rangers. He's been all over the place.
But he hasn't started a game yet this season. I think he's been every time he showed up. I think he was a bullpen pitcher.
Toast just shared it. So the odds on that prop, if you're doing the prop Ever system, it's Giants first 5 team total over 2.5. It's at +125 today. I'm not doing it. I'm not a member of this system. I'm just aware of it.
Oh man! All right. Well, hey. All right. So that's the last game. I guess we can't do this one because we don't know who the starter is.
Yeah, I mean,
because this one says Eric Miller. Some other places say some Spencer Howard. So
the only way you can handicap it is just to handicap the Giants' total runs.
Yeah.
And with Ryan Nelson at home in Arizona, it's got to be over. So there's nothing really much else to talk about.
All right, let's go. All right, so that's that. Fucker. You know what? I didn't even do all the fucking banners. I had all these banners and I didn't even use them.
What do they look like?
All right, so we went through every single game. Let's go to the top looks here. You want to drop any of your favorite bets, Kyle? Let us know.
Favorite bet. There you go. Oh, Baltimore money line.
Baltimore money line. All right, Baltimore money line for Kyle. I think I'm gonna go with the Padres. I'm about to rock with a -1 here.
I would like to see. Oh, wait. Never mind. I thought Prop Ever was in the comments, but he wasn't. They were just talking about his system. I don't think he's in there.
Oh, okay. Padres -1 will probably be my top look for today. Kyle, man, thanks for doing this first show with me here. I really appreciate it. We'll see next time I can come on to your show. But the way we like to close this out, obviously, with this show here, it's a little bit different. We kind of go through the whole process, and we give whatever best we want. But I think the goal of it really is to share information, because I think with handicapping, it's about how you interpret the data, right? Because we all can get the same data, it's about how you interpret it. Because like we can look at the same numbers that I could come up with one way, and you can come up with another way, and the same thing for the viewers. I just want people to know that it's on them really. If they want to tell us, it's on them. If they don't want to, they can go the other way or whatever.
Yep.
But for the most part, man, thanks to all who tuned in. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button if you like to how the show has gone, and you saw like what you see and hear. And please share the show if possible, because first show back, I know it's going to take some time to gain some momentum like we had a couple years ago, but hopefully it doesn't take too long.
And you picked the right time, though. And I know the views this time of year, the view counts are down, but there's way less competition. And this is a time where you can really separate yourselves from somebody who isn't taking advantage of the baseball right now. There's a lot of viewers to be gained right now, and there's not a lot of people out there that like doing baseball content. So it's a slower time views wise, but it's important time for channels.
Yeah, and I know. I mean, obviously we do WNBA and NBA too. NBA is winding down. WNBA is coming towards the middle of the season. I know you don't cap it, but the website, we all have the information for both. But yeah, no, that's really good call out there. But I have if you guys don't know who Kyle Kirms is, I have all his links on the bottom in the description. Link to his Twitter, link to his YouTube. Most of you guys probably know him already. But as always, like I always have to end the show like this. Please remember, whether you fade us or follow us, it is on you to make that call. Good luck with all your action. Till next time. Peace.
Later.